I'm Garcia. What's your name? Are you ready for our tour? Let's go. Come inside. So guys, I will just leave you for a moment and I will call Dr. Bao. See you.
Ang ganda pala sa school na to, no?
Oo nga eh. Ang lalaki ng mga buildings oh.
Pero teka, matatagalan si sir eh. Ano kaya pwede natin gawin? Uy, Kyla, ano ba sinusulat mo kanina?
Ito yung mga rooms kanina na nakita natin, yung mga offices.
Patingin nga, ang ganda naman ng sulat.
Talaga ba? Pero did you know that the first form of writing was invented at 3200 BC?
Writing is the physical manifestation of a spoken language. It is thought that human beings developed language during 3500 BCE as evidenced by cave paintings from the period of the Cro-Magnon man which appear to express concepts concerning daily life. These images suggest a language because, in some instances, they seem to tell a story, say, of a hunting expedition in which specific events occurred rather than being simply pictures of animals and people. Written language, however, does not emerge until its invention in Sumer, southern Mesopotamia during 3500 to 300 BCE. This early writing was called cuneiform and consisted of making specific marks in wet clay with a reed implement.
Wow, history pala talaga. Pili na ng papel? Oo. Did you know who invented paper? Sino?
The invention of paper clearly affects the world today. But providing the proper credit for ancient inventions is a difficult task. Nevertheless, the best information points to a servant of the Chinese imperial court, a servant named Kyla, as the man who can be credited with the invention and innovation of paper in 105 AD.
Uy, may natawag sa'yo, Jovelle.
Ay, wait lang.
Mama ko sasagutin pala. Well, history na naman pinag-uusapan kanina. Did you know the earliest form of cell phone today?
Cell phones that have become our inseparable companions today are relatively new. However, these Ramstadt-hard or jetty people didn't start using the term smartphone until 1995. But the first true smartphone actually made is about 3 years earlier in 1992. It was called the Simon Personal Communicator, and the new technology was iOS and Android.
Jovelle, yung sapatos mo hindi nakasintas. Well, speaking of sapatos, did you know the person who invented the first pair of shoes?
In Mesopotamia, during the 1600 and 1200 BC, a type of soft shoes were worn by the mountain people who lived on the border of Iran. The soft shoe was made of wraparound leather. As late as 1850, most shoes were made on absolutely straight last, with no difference between the right and the left shoe. The process of doing it before was machines were used to cut and stitch the leather, shaping and joining the body of the shoe, and its sole was done by what they called hand lasters. Until in 1883, when John Ernest Matzeliger developed an automatic method for lasting shoes. The machine called shoe lasting machine made the production of shoes faster. And within 2 years, the machine could produce up to 700 pairs of shoes each day, which were hand lasters produce only 50 pairs per day.
Pero guys, meron ba kayo nakitang basurahan dun sa dinaanan natin? Di ko kasi alam kung saan ko itatapon ko eh.
Uy, did you know that the plastic is the main cause of Earth's pollution?
Plastic is the main cause of Earth's pollution. It can be categorized in primary plastics, such as cigarette butts and bottle cups, or secondary plastics resulting from the degradation of the primary ones. Plastic pollution can be taken from 4 different forms. First, the accumulation of waste. Second, the accumulation of marine litter, fragments or microparticles of plastics, and non-perishable fishing nets which continue to trap wildlife and waste. Third, waste causing the death of animals by ingestion of plastic objects. Fourth, the arrival of microplastics and microbeads of plastics from cosmetic and body care products.
Hey guys, nandito pala kayo. Sorry, may emergency si Doc Val. And nandito naman si Doc Karunungan. And nasa nga pala yung isa niyong friend. Comfort room? Okay.
Good afternoon guys, ako nga pala si Doc Allen at alam ko naman mga aspirant scientist kayo. At bilang isang scientist, isa sa mga pinag-aaralan namin ay ang biotechnology.
Biotechnology is the science of utilizing biotic creatures or the products of it for human benefit. Some examples of biotechnology are selective breeding and herbicide resistance. First, selective breeding is the process of reproducing offspring with the same characteristics by purposely breeding such organisms. On the other hand, herbicide resistance is the scientific engineering of crops to be resistant to glyphosate. To define, glyphosate is a type of herbicide that blocks APSPS, which is responsible for the synthesis of aromatic amino acids and other compounds.
Okay, maraming salamat Doc Allen. And sana may marami kayong natutunan. And dismiss na kayo.
Guys, ang init!
Well, did you know that dahil yan sa climate change?
Climate change is a significant change in the measures of climate, such as temperature, rainfall, or wind, that persist for several decades or longer, usually at least 30 years. Now the question is, what causes climate change? Climate change can result from natural processes and factors such as changes in the sun's radiation, volcanic eruptions, or slow changes in the Earth's orbit around the sun. However, the main reason why the Earth is experiencing climate change is due to human activities like burning of fossil fuels and deforestation. These activities emit greenhouse gases that are concentrated, forming a blanket that covers the entire Earth and prevents the heat from escaping to outer space. And this phenomenon is known as the greenhouse effect. Because of it, the temperature of the Earth will increase, thus, we experience climate change. The impacts of climate change are flooding, drought, intense summer heat, violent storms, and other extreme weather events. Therefore, we must act as quickly as possible to stop climate change. We must reduce greenhouse gas emission by finding an alternative source of energy to fossil fuel and by stopping deforestation.